everyone? BHQ Pro Aaron Lesieur. I'm coming to you again from my man cave as I just got back from Clear Lake, California, fishing the One Bass NorCal Open. It was their inaugural event up there, 3-day event, 72 boats and 119% payback. Billy Egan, Bill Cook, Jess, and the rest of the One Bass crew put together a great event. You're not going to want to miss it next year. I'm putting together this quick video to give you a Clear Lake fishing report and then a tournament wrap up on how I caught 60 pounds up there and ended up 19th. So first of all, let's talk about Clear Lake. Right now, you got the fish in all stages of the spawn still to this day up there. And we're at the end of June, which is crazy. So I got up there, we saw fish on beds, and I caught them pre-spawn and post-spawn, and the weather was kind of crazy. We had some triple-digit weather, then a thunderstorm come in on Monday, and then we had some post-frontal conditions on Tuesday, Wednesday. So it'll probably stabilize out here over the next week as the hot weather's coming back. But it was kind of crazy weather, but made for some interesting fishing up there. So the water temps were anywhere from about 74, 75, and some guys were finding the water temps in the mid 80s. So you had a little bit clear water on the north end as the wind was kind of pushing all that algae bloom down to the south end. So let me show you some of the baits that I used during the tournament to catch like I said, the 60 pounds. I probably had 25, 50, about 60 bites for those 3 days during the tournament. So the fishing up there is really good. So my main bait that I was throwing in the morning, and what I thought I was going to throw the entire tournament, was this topwater bait, and I've showed this to you guys before. This is the River to Sea Whopper Plopper. It's the 130. And this happens to be the Piz Customs. This is my custom color that I made for up there with Piz. This is the Beatdown. It's the Clear Lake Hitch Special. And you can see this thing's got a bunch of hook rash on it. I beat this thing up for, probably 8 days that I was up there. So I threw it all in the tournament. I threw a bunch in practice. The only thing about this bait was there's so many weeds up there right now that I'd say 75% of the time you wouldn't even get a full cast. You could get 3 cranks, sometimes you get a full cast. So you had to be patient and you couldn't let it getting weeded up hurt your confidence or irritate you. You just had to keep throwing it, pick the weeds off, throw it out there again. The key was just finding some clear water in those staging areas that the fish were. And I kind of keyed in on about anywhere from 8 to about 2 feet of water. And I throw it on the Dobbins, the 735C. It's got 20-pound braid on there, and I throw it on the Abu Garcia Revo, the STX. So I basically threw that all through the tournament, and it worked really good on Monday because there was a lot of cloud cover, but that bite kind of died off on Tuesday, and it was really non-existent on Wednesday. So when the topwater bite was done for me, I would slow down, and I just went to your standard 6-inch Yamamoto Senko. And I had 2 colors. I'd used the black with the blue flake, and then I used the green pumpkin with the copper flake, purple flake. Any green pumpkin was going to work. And I throw a little chartreuse on the tail, and I throw it on with the CHT. This is the double wacky 1/0 with the weed guard. I got a 15-pound leader on here when it's got matched up to 12-pound. It's this Berkeley Nanofill braid, and I throw it on my Dobbins. This is the 704 SF with this is a Shimano reel, and I throw this bait when I find pockets in the clear water where I kind of knew they were throughout the tournament. Now, one of the keys is I stayed off beating on the banks. A lot of guys were out there fishing up real tight, fishing for those spawners or whatnot. So it was getting beat up pretty good. So I concentrated a lot of my practice on about anywhere from 20 to 50 yards off the bank, in bays, and on weed lines, hoping that my fish would stay there or they wouldn't get beat up as much as the tournament went on, because it was a 3-day tournament. So you had to manage your fish in order to kind of stay up there in that top 20, that top 10. Now, I did find some fish on beds, and you guys have heard me talk about this before. My go-to bed bait out there in Clear Lake is still the Damiki Stinger, the 5.5. This happens to be in watermelon candy, and I throw it on 20-pound braid because the fish aren't going to be line shy when you're throwing it up there on the beds. It's a 1/4 ounce drop shot weight on there. You use it a little heavier so it's easier to flip up on the bed. And this just happens to be on a 703, the Dobbins 703C that I used to flip up on there, another Abu reel. So I used that when I wanted to bed fish. And I had one other bait that I was using because I did find a flip bite in some areas. And I knew that if I needed to go try to catch a kicker or let some of my other areas rest, I'd go flip for an hour or two. And I had two different baits I was rotating through to give them a couple different looks. So this is just your standard Sweet Beaver with a 3/4 ounce weight, a bobber stopper, and a punch skirt. And that's just that's a craw pattern right there. And then I would take that one off and go back through the area again, and I'd throw it on the Damiki Knockout. And that's just a green pumpkin with black flake. Damiki Knockout, a lot more appendages, and would slow the fall right down a little bit, so it'd give them a little more time to pick it up, a little something different to look at. So I'd kind of rotate between those two baits. I threw this one on the Dobbins. It's the 804C, which is actually their Carolina rig rod, and I kind of use this for all kinds of stuff. I throw small swim baits on it, and I throw my smaller flipping baits on it. And then this one here, another Revo STX 6-4-1. So I got everything pretty much on the Revo family. So those are the baits that I used. Again, I fished further off the bank. I found grass pockets. When I was flipping, I was actually kind of flipping tighter to the bank, maybe, but it was more of a heavier cover with weed canopies on there. So I kind of rotated through those all 3 days. The first day, the topwater bite was awesome. We had the cloud cover and the inclement weather. And then the second day when the high pressure rolled in, I didn't quite adjust as well as I should have. I left a couple areas I probably should have stayed longer and grinded it out with the slower Senkos and the flip bait. And then on day 3, that's what I kind of did. I had one area where most of my fish were coming. I pretty much camped out there all day long. So hopefully if you're gonna go up into Clear Lake in the next couple of weeks, you can try out some of these baits and take some of these tips with you on what the fish are doing, and you can put a few good ones in the boat. So until next time, stay focused, fish hard, and I'll see you out on the water.